Okay, so for our first project, or for the projects that we are going to be working on, we're going to take the data from the restaurant. It looks like it's a restaurant data in New York. And we are going to use Power BI to build visualizations that will kind of help us decipher what all this data looks like. So I wanted for you all to take a look at this just so you can see what we're working with here. It has, we have DBAs here doing business as the neighborhood, building numbers, streets, zip codes, phone numbers, cuisine descriptions, inspection dates. The actions taken, violations were cited in the following areas. The violation description, which we're going to use this to kind of help us filter out the as far as the types of violations that these restaurants were subjected to, the grades, and we're also going to use latitude and longitude for projects to see where exactly these restaurants are at. There's a lot much more information here. So again, this data was handed to us, and I kind of filtered it out a little bit. I took out null values. I took out any error values also as well. And then I also added these three columns here, the month and year from the inspection date. We're going to use this to help us build some cool charts with these three as far as splitting up the inspection date so that way it isn't shown like this, but rather it's shown where the month, the day, and the year are split up, so that way we can kind of see if we wanted to filter our data or what we're trying to find out within the data. We can do it by the month. For example, during the month of March, this is what we saw during the year 2016. You know, on March 2016, this is what we saw, and so forth. These were the type of violations that were cited for these restaurants. I'm also going to give you, to start off with, I thought maybe this will help out to see what our end objective is going to look like for the first project that I'm going to be working on. So again, this here is a filter. This is also a filter that helps us to kind of choose, for example, we see here, we have over 180,000 DBAs. Again, that's doing business as. So we have the inspection dates over here, street, where we can find them, the name of the business, and the type of cuisine description we're looking at. So for example, this is the map that's going to tell us where to find this. So let's say we were looking at the action burger here. Within the action burger, we can see that we've had, just take a second to load up here. It's going to filter out everything for us here. And it's going to help us see where we can find an action burger. So we had 11 businesses that were, as far as action burgers. And during this time here, during this time here, we had, these were the inspections done this year on June 6th. Looks like they're all the same street, Graham Avenue. And these were all the violation descriptions that were cited for the action burger. Some of these are not so very flattering. So for example, food contact surface not properly washed, rinsed, and sanitized after each use and following any activity and contamination may have occurred. Facility not vermin proof. Harborage or conditions conducive to attracting vermin to the premises and or allowing vermin to exist. So we know that this particular action burger on Graham Avenue has had some sightings, which is kind of helpful to know if we wanted to see progression. So July 25th, 2019 was the last time they were cited. And it looks like during the year of 2017, there were 2 citations here during the month of May and December. And in 2016, we had 1 in September. Okay, so we are going to build this this year. So I pretty much already transformed a lot of the data already, and I took out all the null values. I took out anything that seemed like it was an error, and I've added the month and year here to the data. So there was some transformation that you will have to do to kind of clean up your data. So let's start off with the first part of this. So we are first going to bring out a filter out here, and we are going to filter by cuisine description. So you can choose to drag and drop if you want. I'm going to do just that, cuisine description. And it's going to load it up in a kind of a selection here that you can pick African. I am going to use the drop down menu. So that way it looks exactly like the one I showed you. And I'm going to format it so that way we are going to get a show all, select all on here. I'm going to leave the multi-select with control on. I'm going to leave everything else on for the time being. So again, so that's just the filter that we used. So I'm going to use another filter. The second filter right there. It's going to be the violations that we talked about, violation descriptions. So for this one, we're going to go down to violation description. We're just going to drag and drop. And there you go. It has exactly the way I had it before with this other one. So it has once you pick here to show you. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to drag this. We're going to drag this pie chart right there. And we're going to add the count of the cuisine description. And that's going to help us with, let's see here, count of cuisine description. Put that right there. So you can kind of see what is there here, how many of each in reference to the whole, to the rest of the restaurants. This here is just showing as far as the legend so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to add count, the count of the cuisine description. So we're going to add it under values, and it's going to give us that look so we can reference it. I like this card here. This card allows you to view the numbers in reference to a particular field. Here I did the count of DBA. So notice how here it says #1 Chinese restaurant because it's pulling from the first DBA. I'm going to change that to count of DBA, and I'm also going to format this so that way it isn't 98.32K. I wanted to add, I want to see the actual number on there, like seeing the entire number. The next thing we're going to do here is add another description here. This time I'm actually going to add a table for the next one here for the DBAs. The table is going to be just the DBAs itself. So we can select it. There you go. This one up here, I actually used the filter. I'm going to change that to table. And it's really, look how easy it was to change it. It wasn't at all difficult. Again, this is what the other one that I was working with exactly it looks like. The next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to add one more table. to this side over here, I'm going to shrink this down. I want to add both the inspection date and where can we find this. So the inspection date is right here. We're just going to drag inspection date right there. It looks like it is taking the entire, as far as year, quarter, month, and day. I don't want to see the quarter. That's not really something that I'm interested in, nor do I want to see it split up. So we're going to actually change this up just a little bit so I can see just the inspection date, not everything else. I am going to, let's see here, inspection type, grade date, inspection date. I'm actually going to leave it like that. Yeah, let's leave it like this. And then I'm actually going to take out just the quarter. I'm not really interested in the quarter. So we'll leave it like that for the time being. Oh, there it is. It's actually not formatted the way I like it. So let's take some of that stuff out. I'm not really interested. Or if you are interested, I guess we can leave the Monday there. Monday, 21st, 2014 looks pretty nice that way. We're gonna also add the street. Just something that I'm interested in is where exactly when you find this particular restaurant. If I'm picking, for example, the #1 Chinese restaurant, where is it in reference to a street? Lastly, we're going to add this chart, which is one of my favorite charts, actually. We are going to add the latitude and the longitude. And so it brings us the map. I want to add, there you go. I don't want to change much. I think it's perfect the way it is. I don't think we need to do much of this one. So we have added pretty much everything we said we were going to do. It looks like we're also going to add count of grid for the size. So that way, if it's bigger and it's smaller, as far as the grade level was added. And it looks like I also added action to the legend. So all that's going to be in the description here when I hover over something. So actions, violations were cited in the following areas for this particular case here. If you wanted to, you could add, instead of the action, you could add the DBA itself. So it narrows it down for you and you highlight it. So that way it has some description to it. Here's a 10 below ice cream. Let's take this off here. Okay. So let's say we're looking at a place that does not wash their hands. It's going to filter everything out for us here. So these places here were cited for not having signs posted at hand washing facilities. And these were all the times that where they were inspected. And this is where you'll find these particular places. Here's another one, accurate thermometer not provided in refrigerated or hot oven equipment. Again, so it filters everything out for you and it gives you all these DBAs that had issues with this. Let's do one more here. Food contact surface improperly constructed. Food contact surface not properly maintained. Food from unapproved. Let's do one that let's do one here. So let's do hot food items that held at or above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Live animals other than fish and tank service animal present and facilitates food. Ooh, live roach is present in facilitates food and or non-food areas. This one is definitely not one. So these were the places that were cited for this particular validation description. So okay, so that's our first one here. I'm just going to rename this one cuisine description. We're going to work on our second one. Thanks for watching.